The film industry is tough. Some burn out, some leave, but can you really come back? So today we're talking to Chris, who left producing and is now making a return. Next on the producer's desk. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It is so nice to see you. I think it's been almost a decade since we've seen each other, huh?
I think 2019 was last. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but it feels like a decade.
And it's great to have you here because we are talking about you wanting to come back to producing. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and the journey you've been going on?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know what brought me into all of this and what brought me to Hollywood was my GI Bill through what I got from the military. While I was attending the Los Angeles Film School, I was also doing reserves and I was doing a camera operating. So I'd always get pulled away. But in that time, I met amazing people, found some amazing mentorship, and I think that's like one of the strengths of being a good producer, because then you learn how to also extend your knowledge to others. Because what I went to school and learned from my instructors, who their heyday was in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, things have changed with YouTube, with social media and everything. And now it's almost like, well, what can you get into produce? Because it's more than just feature films. It's this short form content is exploding.
So being in film school and even back then, you're feeling like, things are a little dated. Like, so what you learned back then and what's happening now, trying to really reconcile that is a journey in itself. And what I wanted to dig in with you was kind of what happened from the point I saw you, like we were, we worked together, and I know I worked you hard, and there was a lot of great projects that we did, and you hear it all the time, but it's long hours. What we do, 16-hour days, rinse and repeat for weeks, can really take a toll on you.
Yeah.
And physically and mentally. Can we talk a little bit about the point you started feeling burnt out?
Yeah. Again, I was still juggling with the reserves, and I wasn't sure whether do I go do missions for them, do I fulfill that, or do I fulfill this dream that I intended to seek. Both sides are very grueling schedules, and you have to be ready to adapt fast and move fast, and probably just seeing that everybody was starting to do kind of their own thing because of how inexpensive cameras are today, the ability to make things, and you go, well, why am I chasing after someone else's dream where there's so much accessibility for you to do your own. And I think that kind of discouraged me from wanting to, kind of continue. Then obviously, life, bills, things like that came up. So I just went more towards the military. But it's not the same storytelling. It's journalism is far different.
What kind of storytelling did you do in the service? What was your main...
Well, I was a combat camera operator.
Okay.
So we would,
Wow.
I would go out on a mission, and I would be a run and gun. I would have to shoot everything myself, produce everything myself, come up with a story myself, get back to my barracks, edit quick, and get it out fast. But the problem was I am more of a creative where I always wanted to do fancy editing. And that kind of stuff always takes a little longer, where they're like, hey, no, just get it out. So from there, I started thinking, well, I want to go back into an environment where I can be a lot more creative in a flexible way.
But it sounds like, though, this experience really kind of filled the gaps that maybe film school didn't provide, right? Because it parallels our world of film, the same sort of
Write
workflow,
a script,
right?
Be ready, do your homework the night before, if not a week before, so you know who you're going to speak to, who you have access to, and what you have access to be able to complete it and get it out as fast as you can. And it was fun, but that was also a little confusing, because it's like, oh, well, did I just exhaust my GI Bill on nothing? Did I to run away from it? And now, thank goodness, I'm going back, trying to get back in with to finish.
So I love that. And that's the one thing I really loved about you, Chris, was just your tenacity. I mean, you're very dedicated, and I love that you're structured. My dad was a Green Beret 27 years.
That's amazing.
And so I grew up in a very structured home, and I find security in that. So when I work with people who are very detailed and structured, it gives me a warm fuzzy when I'm on production. Creative types are the complete opposite. You're dealing with a director who has this beautiful vision, and they're all over the place.
Right. Right.
So it's nice to have a balance of personalities on set. Like, I could really focus on the creative of the films that you were with me on, and I knew you were taking care of business back there.
And
so I
I'd
want to
say-
give you your props.
Yeah, no, and going back to where you helped and mentored me in the film world, you don't always get the graces of being able to meet someone like you that it's going to take you under their wing and be a mentor and teach you that. So when I met you, I was like, oh my God, this is great. And a lot of times you don't see that. A lot of times people are like, hey, go get it, kid, but you're not taking my job. And, you
True.
go after trying to ask for advice and they go, hey, well, come on back. You don't
Yeah.
get that. So when you showed me even just the administrative side of things, it blew my mind, because I was like, I'm not probably going to I learned honestly a lot more from you than I did at the LA Film School. This is a business at the end of the day, and you need to understand that and respect that, because again, time is literally money. The minute that ticker's ticking, money's being spent.
Yeah.
So if I can get back into storytelling, but continue to understand that discipline it takes to get any project done. It doesn't matter what size it is, feature, short, commercial, music video, that, and then to be able to see people's eyes light up when the process is complete. And whether it's gone smooth or a little rough, that is I think the biggest success of being a producer is
It's the cherry on that sundae. Because I got to tell you, when we wrapped God's Not Dead, and it came out back in, I think, September, it was one of the most difficult shoots I'd ever been on, because we had to weather the strike. We literally got cleared, and 2 weeks later got shut down. And thinking we would get back in a queue to get cleared, because we were already cleared, took 4 months. So now you're juggling all the prep that you had just started, and you're trying to keep locations you just scouted, and you're trying to keep the ball rolling and not really stop that momentum. For 4 months was intense, and then we get started, more obstacles. And that's something we cover I've been covering here about producing. A lot of it is problem solving, but being able to be smart about it, being able to balance your emotions and just dealing with things that are just out of control. So when it finally came out on the screen, you're like, oh, then you smile, and there's something about like that moment, you kind of forget all the hours you put in, all the hardships. You go, I did that. And then when you actually see your name on it, and you're like, right there at the top, it says produced by.
Yeah. That
produced by credit, and I always say this, and I've said it in one of my episodes before, when I was like, because people are always like, what's a producer? And it is a very general title. That produced by credit gives us, those producers that are in the trenches with everybody, that little bit of distinction from the producer's credit or the EP credit. Because we know we can open up a movie and there's like a million names, but when you see that produced by credit, and so I'm trying to educate people, those are the people that really, really dug in. And so you coming back, because part of this is about, you think you get a momentum. You and I were working together, and I continued to go on and move up the food chain, and I had tons of productions that I did over the last 3 years, but I didn't have Chris anymore. Oh. And you could have been in that mix easily. Yeah. Easily. So you stopped and you made a choice for yourself, and now you're coming back. Nervous, scared? What's the emotional side to this? You think it's too late to chase your dream in show business? Well, Chris, our ex-military vet, is coming back after Burnout. And in part 2, we talk about fears, fresh starts, and finding mentorship in unexpected places. Don't miss it.